Everyone. Welcome to Inspiring Voices. I am your host, Angela Daniels. Y'all know who I am. Y'all know that girl global. If you hear, hopefully you already know who we are and what it is that we do. And we're super excited about this virtual series that is allowing us to explore women with inspiring stories and inspiring voices. Our platform amplifies women's voices that leaves a lasting impact. And I believe after this guest, you're going to be inspired. Y'all know last week we talked about going from inspiration to transformation. Well, I have a good feeling about this guest that she's going to leave you both inspired and give you a little push for transformation. Today, I'm honored to be joined by Miss Cynthia Smalls, who will share her journey and inspire our audience with the power of her story. Thank you for joining me today, Cynthia.
Thank you for having me, and I'm excited to be here with That Girl Global.
Absolutely. Well, we're so excited to have you. Let's jump into some questions, some conversational questions that will help our community get to know you and just hear about this wonderful, powerful, impactful story that you have. Let's start somewhere about, the start of everything, the beginning, the background, the early experiences, right? Can you share who you are and the experiences that shaped you and brought this person that we see today?
So I will share that I walk into the space as a Black woman, and like probably most of your visitors in your community. I'm a wife, I'm a mother, I'm a sister, but I am also a breast cancer survivor. And I am also an advocate for Black women fighting and surviving breast cancer. That is something that is very close to my heart. And because 10 years ago I was diagnosed and fought breast cancer, and I saw very few images when I was being treated of women that look like me. And I have to be honest, it really hurt me and it impeded my mental health for a little bit because I felt like I wasn't being seen.
Yeah.
So it was important for me once I made it into survivorship to do something about it.
I love that. And that kind of makes a great segue into the next part of this conversation, pivotal challenges. So, everyone, I believe, everyone with an inspiring story has a journey and something pivotal that happened in their lives to create the person that we see before us today. So, when you were going through your journey of breast cancer and finding out and all of those things, how did you navigate through that? What was the most pivotal part of that journey? And how did you navigate through it to get to the point of survivorship? Because surviving is not just being breast cancer free, or cancer free. Surviving is how we also go through it and choose to, use that situation. So, how did you navigate through that?
So I think the first thing I was faced with was when I heard on the other end of the phone, you have breast cancer, right? That is shocking. That was not on my bingo card. Let me say that. It was very shocking. And I had to come to terms with that. And I had to come to terms with it really quickly because I needed to shift and move into a fight mode. And it was important because while I was going through breast cancer and on that journey, my whole focus was just surviving. It was
Mm.
just, I don't want to die. I got to do whatever it is I have to do to live. And I unconsciously paused. I paused almost every other area of my life. I was still getting up and going to work, but that was about pretty much all I was doing because my life was just revolving around doctor's appointments, radiation, and things like that. So that was the first thing that I felt was a huge challenge that I had to accept.
Mm. Something very important that I hear, and let me tell you, I know I keep it real. I have all these notes, but these notes will get you caught up. So we just gonna be real and open and
So take it.
transparent. And Shelby will let me know if we need to take some of this out, but what I heard you say was your mindset. You had to literally fight for your life. And I don't want to brush past that. I want people to really hear the importance of setting your mindset to say, listen, I don't want to die. I gotta figure this out. I gotta set my trajectory as to how I'm going to go through this. Talk about that, how important it is to really set your mindset to a specific goal, whatever it is, to reach it and to accomplish that.
You have to shift your mindset. And part of what I needed to do, I personally had to learn how to ask for help, and I
Mm,
had to learn how to accept the help, because if I don't ask for help, they think it's okay. They think I'm all right. They think I'm not hurting. They think,
yeah.
and that's not anything negative. It's just human nature.
Yes.
So, one of the things that I had to learn was to ask for help. And the
Mhm.
second thing I had to learn was to receive that help, right? That's
Mm,
not always easy
no.
when you have a cape on
Yes.
and when you have multiple roles and you have multiple responsibilities, and the pressure, the focus is, I got to get it done. I got to by hook or by crook. I remembered so distinctly my growing up as a child, and I would hear my mother utter those words, by hook or by crook, I'm going to get it done. That seeps into your essence. And it wasn't a negative thing, but it seeps into your essence. And then you just have life, right? As the young kids say, life be life, and life comes, and you, before you know it, you have all these responsibilities. And one of those responsibilities is not thinking that you're going to get breast cancer. Like, I didn't fit that into the schedule, you know. But I had to pause and I had to shift my mindset, which was three-quarters of the battle.
Mm. And listen, we gotta pause on that. Asking for help and receiving help. As women, if you are watching this, I want you to understand how powerful community is. Again, that is why I do the work that I do, because we were not created to do this alone, and you're not alone. And you have to be willing, like you said, take that cape off, because it doesn't serve us as well as we think it does. I think we pride ourselves on being strong and we can do it all, independent women, and there's nothing wrong with that until it is. And as someone who has been in the hospital, someone who has been diagnosed with certain things due to stress, stress will take you up out of here. And so I love that you said that. Elaborate a little bit more on that, because I see you got some more
Because,
points.
yes, because asking for help and
Mm-hmm.
accepting help is not a weakness. It is
No.
actually the opposite, right?
Yeah.
It is the opposite. It is actually the strong thing to do,
Absolutely.
because we are not put in position, as you stated, to go through things alone. And there were people positioned in my life who were ready to bless me, right?
Mm.
They were ready to help me. They were
Yeah.
ready to step up.
Mm-hmm.
By me initially, I got it. I don't need it. I got it. I was blocking their blessings. I was
Yeah.
interfering with what they were tasked to do. So I say that to say it truly is a mind shift. And that's one of the big overall lessons I learned, that asking for help and receiving that help is not a weakness, it's really a strength.
Yeah, yeah. I love that you said that, and that was a point that wasn't necessarily in my notes but came out because again, we're talking about, cancer and things like that, but a lot of sicknesses derive from stress and
Yes.
pressure that is not addressed. So I want to take a moment to just encourage those who are watching and who are listening to go get checkups. Make sure that you have a consistent self-care schedule. Make sure that if when you need to, you go on, put that phone on D&D, that you turn it all off sometimes, because we were not created to just go, 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 do, do, do. Take some time for you and address those things that need addressing before it gets to a point that you're dealing with something that is, detrimental to your health. All right, I want to take a moment to say that. So I want you to talk to us about creating impact, because you took your story, you took your journey, and you created impact with it. How can we? Can you share and encourage someone who may be watching, and let us know how can we use our own stories to inspire, influence, and make positive impact?
So, one of the easiest things that you can do is we have family gatherings, Mother's Day, Christmas, Thanksgiving, going out to brunch with our girlfriends.
Mhm.
And just in terms of whether it's breast cancer awareness or self care, um, check in. Hey, girl, it's July. Have you had your mammogram? Hey, girl, what self care have you done for yourself this week? Um, I know I personally did not grow up even knowing what self care was. I was a grown
Mhm.
woman when I found out what that was. But it is something as simple as that. It is simple as the women who are around you, who are younger than you, those nieces, those cousins at church, tap into people because people I find will respond. I was public about my breast cancer, women started coming to me and asking me questions. Miss Daniels, I was not prepared for that. But, women were saying things to me like, my sister hasn't had a mammogram in 5 years. I don't know how to get her. Or my cousin has breast cancer and I want to send her something. What should I do? I didn't sign up for that. But that's what, but that's here I am. Right.
Yeah.
So we are all in that situation. There is someone that is watching this that has a neighbor, a cousin, a family member who you just reach out and touch them. Just check
Yeah.
in with them. It doesn't have to be that, hey girl, how you doing? Sometimes people just need to know they're being thought of, that they
Right.
are being considered. And
Yeah.
you may not have the answer. You may call Ms. Daniels and say, girl, and blah, blah, blah. And I may not have the answer, but I guarantee you, when we hang up, you're going to be able to say, I got that off my chest. Now maybe I can figure out what my next step is. We don't have to figure things out in isolation. We have people that love us, that can
Yes.
help us, and that can aid us, that can push us in the direction of a person that has a resource we know nothing about. So I
Yeah.
think that's important, but people don't know you need help unless you actually open yourself up. And
That's it.
sometimes women have a lot of pride and we are protectors
Hmm.
and we don't like to be vulnerable because it can be painful. But we each know the people in our life who we can trust. And those people who we can trust are positioned to help us.
Yeah. And I feel like if you don't have that, you really need to seek out, good community. You really need to pray about God sending you people. I had to, say that prayer at one point in my life. God, send me people, your people, my people that you want me to have for me. Because the ones that I've selected, may, they may not be the best for me. Something else I heard you say is just reaching out beyond ourselves. Reaching, I think we make creating impact very hard and difficult, and we have to have it all together and it has to be perfect. It's similar to even having this conversation, sharing your story, just stopping and saying, hey, and speaking and just introducing yourself can open the door for you to share your story. And you don't have to have a platform and you don't have to have the website and the business card. Just be willing to be open and transparent and share. This recording wasn't perfect. Okay. I just found out how to do the layout as we're speaking, but it still will be inspiring and it still will be encouraging to someone. So I love that you said that, to put that mask down, put that guard down and share so that someone else can be impacted and inspired by it. I love that. And how do we sustain, do you think, inspiration? Because I know for me, in doing the work that I do, there's ebb and flows. Okay. There are days where I'm like, I don't have it in me and I know what I'm called to, but life happens and things happen and you go through your own personal struggles while trying to impact and inspire others. What advice would you give our community as well as myself as how to sustain, excuse me, that inspiration, sustain that impact? If you're doing something in the world and in the earth, how do we keep going when life is, life?
So I think I'm a big planner, right? But it doesn't have to be that deep because I'm a firm believer in if I tell you and if I teach you, you're going to teach one other person who's going to teach one other person or two other people. And especially if you're telling it to somebody that's young, because young people know how to take it and they know how to run, right? They know how to
Mhm.
run and proliferate that information. But I think in terms of being the one who's the giving and the doer, number one, your self care has to exist. Your self care has to be regular. It has to be what you need it to be. If
Mhm.
that is taking a bubble bath every week, go ahead. If that is taking a walk out in nature, go ahead. If that's taking a Pilates class, if that is learning how to cook Italian food, whatever your comfort is, have the things that bring you comfort around you. Have the people that bring you comfort around you. But the other side to that is have boundaries, right?
Mhm.
We often get ourselves in trouble because we overcommit. We forget that no is a full sentence. And sometimes everything you're asked to do is not your assignment, it's not your task. And it's okay to say, I agree with what you're doing, but I don't have the bandwidth for
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So, and I think that it's a two-sided coin. And I'm a believer in affirmations. I'm a believer in journaling. I journal. I recite positive affirmations. Some of them are scripture, but some of them are just things that I write that I know that I need. And when I'm feeling a little low, I have a folder actually that I keep in my photos of just things that I've seen on social media, little graphics that speak to me. And I have it in a folder that's entitled Speaking Life Over Myself because I
Mm.
don't wake up every day wanting to do this job, right? Wanting to be that advocate, when you take in and you're helping people, it becomes heavy. And you have to be able to step back and nurture yourself.
Yeah.
So I have learned the things that I need to do, and it's a constant ebb and flow,
It is.
constant ebb and flow, ebb and flow.
I love what you said about keeping those things and those people who make you feel good or bring you comfort and peace around you. That is so powerful and impactful. And you said it real fast. That I did like this and I grabbed it and I'm taking that with me because it is a lesson that I'm in real time having to live out. And that is just it's kind of what I've been saying in my personal life. So when you said it, it was like, whoo, that's confirmation about really evaluating. You have to evaluate. You have to
You
evaluate.
have to have, you have to use the good judgment,
Yeah.
right? You have to
Yeah.
use good judgment. And I have, at almost 60 years old, come to realize one thing. Everybody doesn't get access to me,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it's okay.
It's okay.
And I have learned that some people, you my lunch friend, girl, we gonna go to lunch. That's what we do.
Okay.
And some people are my church. Like I have people, I'm a compartmentalizer.
Yes.
Not everybody is, but I'm a
Yes.
compartmentalizer. And that works
Mhm.
for me. And it helps me to keep my boundaries so that I
Yeah.
don't expect more from you
Come
than what
on.
you can give.
Come on.
Because A, is not like B. So I can't expect B to give me everything that A is
Right.
giving me
Right.
because B might be giving me the sun and the moon, but
Yeah.
A might be giving me the stars. It's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
But if I expect the same thing from everyone,
Everyone.
I'm disappointed, I'm hurt,
Yes.
and then I'm looking at
Come
you like,
on.
well, you wasn't really my friend, and why you know
Yeah.
I did this for
Hmm.
you, and you did all this overextending, you did all this grace, you
Yeah.
did all this inviting, and then you're left like holding the bag. When that person was only really being what they could be.
Yes. Listen, you preached a word right here at the end of this conversation today. And you said the compartmentalizing is something that you do, but I really think it's something that we all should do, especially in community and friendships. I think it's something that we all should do. In closing, what do you want the listeners to, or the watchers, viewers, to walk away with after listening to this conversation today?
I would like for them, and I'm going to look down because I want to read it because I want to make sure I get it right. Anytime you can change for the better, it may be tough, but you can get through it to push the button, right? We all have that button in our lives that we need to press, that we need to shift. Sometimes that button needs to be pressed when you're starting a new relationship. Sometimes that button needs to be pressed when you're going to a new church. Sometimes that button needs to press because you're getting over an illness or you're a caretaker.
Yeah.
A lot of different reasons that happen in life that we need to reset. And resetting is a beautiful thing because you get to start over and
Right.
you get to maybe improve, you get to change, and it all starts with your mindset.
I love that. Listen, you have inspired me today. Thank you so much for being a part of the first installment of Inspiring Voices, Cynthia. Your story is very powerful, and I know that I am not alone in being inspired today. Thank you so much. For those of you who are watching, thank you for tuning in to Inspiring Voices. Stay connected for more stories that will uplift, empower, and transform. Until next time, continue to walk in purpose, share your voice, and inspire the world around you.
Bye bye.